My heart shattered the moment I found the truth. It wasn't a secret anymore. Betrayed by those I loved most, I realized I had been nothing but a pawn in their cruel game. Now I had to choose: keep silent and let them win, or find my voice and take back everything I'd lost. My name is Clara. For years, I thought I had everything: a family that loved me, a sister who had my back, a mom who always said she was proud of me, and a dad who made sure we never wanted for anything. But that was the lie. The truth. It shattered me. I thought Lily and I were close. We were inseparable. Or at least, that's what I told myself. She was my protector, my partner. She promised me we'd always be there for each other. But that afternoon changed everything. I was walking down the hallway, heading toward the kitchen when I heard her voice. It wasn't like the usual chatter I'd grown accustomed to. This was different. There was tension in the air. I stopped peeking around the corner of the door. "Clara doesn't need to know," Lily said, her voice sharp, low. I didn't understand. My heart pounded in my chest and my hands froze midair. What was she talking about? I wanted to call her name, confront her. Something held me back. "I'll tell her when the time's right," she continued. "She's better off not knowing the truth. If she finds out now, it'll destroy her. Destroy her." My mind spun. What was going on? I felt sick to my stomach. "She never understand," Lily added, her voice breaking. And suddenly it wasn't just a conversation. It was a confession. I took a step back, away from the door, my chest tightening. I wanted to scream, to ask her what the hell she was talking about, but no sound came out. I had always trusted her. She was the one I went to when I was scared, the one who wiped away my tears when I was hurt. And now here she was, keeping secrets from me, leaving me in the dark like I was nothing. The rest of the conversation blurred into a dull, muffled sound. My heart thudded in my ears, and I felt a wave of disbelief crash over me. Was this real? I stumbled backward, my body shaking. I couldn't move. I wanted to run, to leave this house, to leave all of them behind, but my feet wouldn't carry me. I heard footsteps approaching. Lily's voice, once warm and familiar, felt cold. I could hear her laughing with our mom. I wanted to tell her what I heard. I wanted to demand answers. How could I? For the first time in my life, I felt utterly alone. I didn't know who I could trust anymore. My sister, my best friend, had betrayed me. She wasn't just hiding something. She was hiding it from me. Sprah. And I had no idea what that it was yet. But I knew one thing for sure. Everything had changed. The house felt different the morning after. It was like the air had thickened, and I could barely breathe. I was suffocating. The night had been long, too long, and sleep hadn't come. How could it, after everything I'd heard? I sat at the kitchen table, my hands wrapped tightly around my mug, the warmth doing nothing to ease the cold inside me. Mom was in the other room, humming as she prepared breakfast, like nothing was wrong. I couldn't look at her without seeing her face in that conversation I'd overheard. She was part of this. She had to be. She never noticed the weight on my chest, the knot in my throat, the way my heart felt like it had been shattered into pieces. "Clara," she called, her voice sharp as she entered the kitchen. "Are you going to help me with the dishes today?" Couldn't answer. My mouth felt dry, my stomach twisted. I wanted to scream at her, tell her everything I'd learned, but the words wouldn't come. It was like I was stuck in a nightmare. I got up and left the room. It was no use. Mom was distant, always had been. It wasn't like I expected her to comfort me, but for once I wished she'd noticed that something was wrong, that I was falling apart. The silence between us felt suffocating. I moved toward the hallway, and that's when I heard them, my parents, talking in low voices from the living room. "I don't know, Tom," I heard Mom say, her voice quiet, but filled with something. Was it annoyance? "Claire's been difficult lately. I don't know what's gotten into her. It's like she's a different person." I stopped in my tracks. My heart skipped a beat. What were they saying? The conversation went on, and I could hear Dad's voice, calm, but with an edge to it. She's always been a problem, Emily, Dad replied. She gets too emotional. We've tried to help her, but it's like nothing we do is ever good enough. I'm starting to wonder if it's her. Me, my own father was talking about me like I wasn't even there. I wasn't a daughter, too. I was a problem he couldn't deal with. He was blaming me for everything. My throat closed. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the ground had shifted beneath me and I was falling into an abyss. My parents, my family had turned on me. Couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears rushed out of my eyes, hot and burning. I felt betrayed, isolated, worthless. The anger and the pain inside me swelled up until it felt like I might explode. I wiped my face with the sleeve of my shirt and stumbled into the living room. My mind a blur. Mom and Dad looked up, both startled, and for a moment, there was silence. I heard you, I managed to say, my voice cracking. I heard everything. They both froze, not knowing what to say. Mom opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Dad just stared at me like I wasn't his daughter. Do you really think I'm the problem? I choked out, feeling the weight of their words suffocate me. Is that all I am to you? A burden. Mom's face softened slightly, but it was too little, too late. I couldn't trust her. I couldn't trust either of them anymore. You've always been difficult, Clara, Dad said, his voice low, a hint of frustration in his words. You're too emotional, too dramatic. It's tiring. His words felt like a slap across my face. I had been nothing but a burden to them. Everything I had felt, every tear I had shed was just too much for them to deal with. I couldn't stay there anymore. My chest was tight, my hands shaking. I turned and walked out of the room, not even caring if they followed. It was clear. Now, they weren't my family. They were strangers who had never truly seen me. The betrayal cut deeper than anything Lily could have done. My parents, the people who were supposed to protect me, love me unconditionally, had turned their backs on me. I had to get out. I had to escape. I couldn't breathe anymore. The suffocating silence in the house had become unbearable. I could feel it, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me every day. I couldn't keep living like this. The lies, the manipulation, the way they made me feel like I was the problem. No more. I wasn't going to let them control me anymore that night. I stood in front of the mirror in my bedroom, the cold, harsh light shining down on me. I barely recognized the person staring back. The girl in the mirror looked defeated, small, invisible. That was me, wasn't it? That's how they made me feel. But in that moment, something shifted. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, I'm done. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. But it was real. I meant it. I turned away from the mirror, my pulse racing, and walked toward the closet. I wasn't just going to let them destroy me. I wasn't going to let them decide my worth anymore. I packed my things quickly. Clothes, books, my journal, anything that mattered. It didn't take long, but it didn't need to. I didn't need anything else. I didn't need them. As I moved through the house, everything felt different. The walls, the floor, even the air felt heavy. My feet were dragging, but my mind was already running. I was going to leave. I was going to make a choice. The night was still young, and I had no idea what I was walking into. But it didn't matter. I stood by the door, the cold metal handle in my hand. I felt the finality of it, the weight of the moment. And for the first time in so long, I felt something other than pain. I felt strength. That the door clicked behind me as I stepped out. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I didn't know what my future looked like. But at that moment, I knew one thing. I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. The people who should have loved me, who should have protected me, had failed me. And now I had to protect myself. The streets outside were quiet, the city lights flickering in the distance. But there was a fire inside me I hadn't felt before. I wasn't drowning anymore. I was fighting. I was going to rise above this. It had been months since I left. I didn't know what the future held, but I was no longer looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next betrayal. I was starting to rebuild my life. I found a small apartment, a part-time job, and even made a few friends. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was breathing again. But then, one afternoon, my phone rang. The unknown number made my heart skip a beat. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the screen. I didn't recognize the number, and a part of me didn't want to answer, but I couldn't ignore it. I took a breath and pressed accept. Clara, the voice on the other end, broke through the silence. It was Lily. Clara, I need to talk to you. I froze. Her voice was shaky, broken, and it hit me like a punch to the gut. What was she doing calling me now? After everything. I wasn't sure I was ready to hear whatever she had to say. I'm sorry, she said, her voice thick with tears. Oh, I've been carrying this guilt for so long. Lied to you, Clara. I kept the truth from you because, ... 'cause I was scared. Scared of losing my place in the family. Scared of what would happen if you ever knew the truth. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to stop the tears that were threatening to spill. The anger I had once felt was still there, bubbling beneath the surface, but something else, something unexpected was rising inside me. I wasn't sure what to say, what to do. She was crying. She was sorry. But the pain she had caused me was still fresh. You were never supposed to find out, Lily continued, her voice cracking. I thought it would be better for everyone if you just ... stayed in the dark. I never wanted to hurt you, but I did. And now I can't take it back. The guilt sits killing me, Clara. The words hung in the air, and I let them settle around me. She was finally admitting the truth, but it didn't make me feel better. It didn't erase what she had done. Didn't erase the nights I spent wondering if I was worthy of love. The countless times I had blamed myself for the brokenness of our family. But then something shifted inside me. I didn't feel the overwhelming urge to scream at her to make her feel what I had felt. I didn't need her apology. I didn't need her to fix it. Because in that moment I realized something. Her betrayal had already cost her more than I ever could. I stayed silent, letting the weight of that realization sink in. She had destroyed our bond, and now she was carrying the burden of her own guilt. I didn't need to add to that. The truth had already done its job. Lily, I don't know what to say, I said softly, my voice steady. But I've been through too much to keep holding on to this. Anger, I don't need to carry your guilt anymore. There was a long pause on the other end of the line, and then Lily whispered, I'm sorry. I wish I could take it back. No, I said, my voice softer now. But you can't, and I don't need you to. I hung up the phone without another word. As I sat there, the silence felt different this time. It wasn't suffocating. It wasn't painful. I had finally let go. Karma had done its work. I didn't need to punish her. Life had already done that for me. I leaned back in my chair, taking a deep breath. For the first time, I felt peace.